Hello, and today we are meeting our breeding boys that we have here. We have two dwarf dairies, one of whom is coming towards us, and an Angora breeding boy. Now the one heading this way is Stinky Warburton. His posh name is Capricaria albatross. We know him as Stinky Warburton. Over here, the fluffy one with the strange pole on his head. Here, the white one. Come on, that's Parsnip. His posh name is Summerbrook Snowflake. And this is Oak Tree Moog. We just know him as Moogie. Now Moogie is the dad of Apple with the bent ears that we met the other day. Can I have my fleece back, please? Moogie, let go of the toggles, thank you. Albatross here, or Warburton as we know him as, hasn't been used for breeding yet, but will be used this autumn. Parsnip, with the strange pole on his head, is the dad of Artichoke and Aardvark, who you met yesterday, who are just lying down over there in the hay. Now the reason he has a strange pole on his head is that he's really, really stupid. He spends his life with his head stuck if he doesn't have to wear a pole of shame. It's just a non-ending job, never-ending job, getting his head out of strange places, so it's just easier and safer for him to have a pole on, although it's not very central, is it? At the moment, the boys are all nice and clean, have nice clean beards, they're in good condition, they look great, they're not in rut. When they go into rut, these are a whole different ball game, aren't you boys? You lose all sense, don't you? Yeah, they go to great lengths to wee on themselves. They love weeing on their beards, it's just their best thing ever during rut. They absolutely stink the whole time. I mean, it's that heady smell of goat wee that you end up smelling of yourself if you don't feed them from the outside, which we do to avoid too much contact during rut. Hello, Warby. Yeah, because it's quite a strong odour. To them, it's just the best thing. They smell lovely. To the ladies, goat ladies, hasten to add, they smell absolutely lovely. To us, they smell absolutely dreadful. They also turn into very strange beasts during rut. They make very odd noises, kind of a nit, 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 nit. They stick their tongues out, they do really odd things. Male goats in rut are very bizarre creatures, aren't you? You disgrace yourselves. We have to split them up. They don't seem to tolerate each other during rut at all. And I think there is a bit of small man syndrome maybe with this lot, not sure. But anyway, moving on from that, these two just have their coats. They do drop it out a bit molt in summer. Moogie especially goes a lovely dark brown. He's still got his scruffy winter coat. You can see Parsnip is looking very scruffy. He will just drop that coat like a dead Christmas tree in January. It's around his neck, you can see it's coming out. It'll all just drop off him. He self-sheds, which is unusual for an Angora. And I know that some of his full brothers who have been kept by the breeder, they need clipping, whereas he doesn't. You can see that he carries colour. He's got a bit of colour on his nose and around his eyes. And actually his mum was dark brown. So it's quite interesting that he's so white. Hello, Moogie. So here's our breeding boys. This year we'll be using Warburton with some of the new ladies that carry colour. We'll be using Moogie again with some of the Angoras to hopefully get some blue or some darker colours into some of that bloodline over there that you met yesterday. And again, we think Parsnip back with Nugget again because he seems to produce quite nice small kids, and he threw two girls, so we're hopeful that he is a girl thrower. Moogie, let go of the jumper. Yeah, so that's where we're at with our boys. We do have another youngster coming on, Axel, who you haven't met yet, but he won't be ready until later this year. So there we are, the pervy boys. I have just realised that no one knows who Apple is because I haven't mentioned her yet. This is Apple here. She was born a couple of months ago, and she's Moogie's daughter from this year with her mum, Mrs. Waffles. Apple has got really strange bent ears. I don't know if you can see there. And that's because of the difference between the pendulous ears of Mrs. Waffles. Would you like a grape, Mrs. Waffles? There you go. And the uppy righty ears like Oreo's got here. So that difference has just caused this minor defect, a little bit of curled ears. Strictly speaking, for showing purposes, if we were going to show her, they say that you should tear them when they're young. But I thought that was just really inhumane. And I quite like it actually that she's got strange ears. So she'll stay with us like everyone else. Moogie's son from this year is here. This is Axel with the blue head with his mum Ginger. Do you want a grape, Ginger? Yeah. So little Axel here will be the breeding buck I was on about that hopefully should be ready in autumn, because look at that colour coming through him. You're going to steal his grape. That's not very nice, Mum, is it? And you just bit my hand, Mrs. Wofts. Hello, Miffy. Arnold's mum, Miffy again. Whoops. And Big A himself is just here chilling by the fence. But we've had cuddles already today, haven't we, young man? He is so lovely. Anyway, hope that clears up any confusion. Sorry about that.